Alex Batdorf, and you're watching Get Shit Done, the place where we're taking female entrepreneurs from inspiration to activation. I feel like when we talk about successful companies today, they're typically the ones that are raising money from investors. And honestly, that's really a toxic narrative because the reality is that the majority of companies aren't going to get capital from investors. And the reality of that is a lot of them don't actually need it. So what about the rest of us? That's why today I wanted to sit down with two of my favorite female founders who bootstrapped their company and built such a badass product that they had the likes of Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Ashanti, and the legendary Prince all rocking their product. So stay tuned because today you're going to learn how to bootstrap your company by building a badass brand. From making sunglasses in their parents' home in Minnesota to a mattress in a small room in New York, to having their sunglasses worn on the faces of celebrities like Yonce, Nicki Minaj, and Prince, Coco and Breezy epitomize true entrepreneurial grit. As the only kids of color at their high school who were bullied, Coco and Breezy created their sunglasses to avoid being stared at. The sunglasses that provided them with the alter ego to combat the stares and tormenting of bullies has transformed into a highly successful business in the $100 billion eyewear market. But unlike many stories being depicted as successful startups today, Coco and Breezy didn't get money from investors to start or scale. They didn't come from money, and they didn't go to a fancy school. Better yet, they didn't even go to college. Instead, they leverage building an authentic brand to bootstrap and build a badass business.
I would love to hear more about why, well, one, what is Coco and Breezy, which your namesake, but why did you start the company?
Well, Coco and Breezy was a name that our parents gave us actually when we were kids. And growing up, we grew up in the suburbs where we were the only kids of color.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota.
Okay.
And there was not a lot of other children that had eclectic styles. And so this household name that our parents would call us at home, Coco and Breezy, I would be embarrassed and say, don't call me that in front of my friends. And then it wasn't until we kind of like understood our personal style in middle school. We're like, you know what? We're gonna go with Coco and Breezy at school and have all our friends call us that now. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But that kind of leads up to why we got inspired to start eyewear. Is that since we were these eclectic, different, always driven, always working, always wanting to like not go to parties but just go home and like create, we got bullied for just being different. And we would just cover our eyes and avoid eye contact with sunglasses. And so we started off just like collecting a lot of vintage frames and like buying cheap sunglasses. And even it got to a point where our teachers allowed us to wear them in school. And so we wear our sunglasses in the middle of class.
Is it because they saw that and made you guys comfortable?
Yeah, and they always knew that we were just different. We were always different.
Yeah.
And so when we first started the eyewear brand, we were going to call the name something else. We were going to call it Gemela Amor. It's so dumb. It means twin love in Spanish. We were so young. And then a friend of ours, because the thing is we built a brand without having a product. The Coco and Breezy brand was already built. It was already built just from us expressing our style, saying that
high school.
Yeah, high school, and then also just our young adulthood. We kind of just built this lifestyle without a product. And so a friend of ours, his name is Michael Jesse, he was like, I think you guys should name your eyewear company Coco and Breezy because that's your names and you guys represent who your consumers are. And it's a Coco and Breezy is not just glasses, it's a full lifestyle. It's something you feel like you're living in our world, our planet, we all do this together. And one thing that we always say about the people that are part of our brand or the supporters of the brand is that like when people ask us who is our consumer, we don't say, I can't tell you a skin type, I can't tell you an age, I can't tell you if it's a male or female, but I can tell you a personality type.
Yeah.
So you can't look and be like, that's a Coco and Breezy customer because our product's for everyone. But it's people that want to feel, what was the word that we said before? I feel like it's everyone in certain groups that are different and everyone kind of comes together. But like you don't have to be fashionable to wear a product. And so I think a lot of people will see our product as being fashionable, but we actually have a lot of customers that don't present as fashionable, but they want to be a part of the culture.
Yeah.
And we're not creating a fashionable piece, we're creating a medical device, and we're creating a need. And so that's something that is super important to us. And it's been fun. It's been really interesting, like Coco says, that our customers come from like 25 to like 60 or 70. Yeah.
Going back to bootstrapping, you guys had a brand already. You guys, I heard somewhere that you were MySpace twins, or did that happen before the eyewear?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about that, because I think that has a lot, building an audience and a brand has a lot to do with how you can leverage bootstrapping and go get it.
So I think that's why our story is a little unique, only because we did build a brand before having a product. And the brand was really just us being ourselves and creating a lifestyle. Selfies, taking photos at like 16 years old. Literally not.
MySpace was a thing.
It was a thing, and our goal wasn't to like create a brand. Our goal was to be ourselves. And I think that we attracted so many other kids that were maybe different within their cities, and we all came together. And once we figured out that we had an audience, and this was before social media was even a thing. It was before social media marketing was even in the vocabulary of like conversation. It was even before blogs. But we stepped back and we were like, we have so many people following us, we need to create a business. And we always knew that we wanted to be entrepreneurs. We just didn't know what the product was.
This was in high school?
Yeah, like when we were 18, like 17, 18.
Okay, so then you guys started making eyewear for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then when was that moment where you're like, we need to make this a business, and how did you do that?
I was sitting on my mom's living room floor, I'll never forget this day. And I started hand embellishing some glasses, wore them, posted a picture on MySpace. People were asking us like, where can I, this is us at like 18. Where can I buy them? And Coco like figured out how to implement PayPal into our MySpace. Like she coded it in. Yeah. We were always like the girls that had the cool MySpace layouts.
Yeah.
Like we had like the extra things, the emojis.
Those were everything.
Like,
like organizing, putting your top 10, like almost everything.
Yeah. Coco figured out how to like code in a PayPal like shop now button on our MySpace page, and people started ordering them. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have a brand.
Yeah.
Well, you already have the brand, and you were like, okay, well, we need to make a product. You decided on eyewear because that was something you guys were already wearing to school. Mm-hmm. You implemented PayPal, but how, when you started getting this demand, were you getting pre-orders, or how were you affording the supplies to make it?
Yeah, so the way we were doing it is because we were hand embellishing things. So it was more about like, as soon as people would pay us, we'd go out and buy supplies.
Okay.
So it was a case-by-case order. But then once we moved to New York, because again, we were making the safety goggles, so they weren't like manufactured glasses. So we were able to get an order, buy supplies, re-up. We were just kind of we kept reinvesting the money into the supplies. And so once we got to New York, our orders grew because then we started getting on blogs. Had a whole bunch of celebrities wearing the product, and then we had this. It was like 2009. Yeah, 2009. And so then we had a whole bunch of orders, and at the end of the day, like that was such a great start for us, but we didn't really know how to scale a business then, and we didn't understand our full direction, and that was a great start. But what we knew was we knew hustle, and we learned hustle, we learned sacrifice, and we learned how to like keep pushing. I feel like those are like the top things. And we learned how to build a brand, because every company has a brand. I feel like there's so many products out there, and then people have all these manufactured stories. But our story is a real story. Our issue is that we didn't understand how to scale our business and how to go from making safety goggles that we were hand embellishing into real products. And so we had this time where the glasses were selling well, but they were a fad. They were really hot. But actually, as hot as they were. The ones up there. Yeah. Okay. But as fast as they were hot, like they were in every mag, every celebrity, like hundreds of sales a day, and then a few years later, it went from that to nothing. So we were like, oh my gosh, what's next?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's go back, because you guys went from, okay, now you're in New York.
Yep.
And I had read that you guys actually came here didn't have a place to stay and you were able to actually get rent through what you were selling. So you went from, you know, implementing on MySpace, PayPal, taking in these orders. How were you guys managing the demand and able to keep up with the growth?
We were young and not sleeping. I think everybody can sleep. I get all my sleep now.
I tell people all the time,
Like team no sleep is so lame.
it's so lame.
It's not productive.
So lame. I hate when these motivational people are like, if you want to be successful, don't sleep. I'm like, you will have some nights where it's all-nighters.
Yep.
But that's not sustainable.
No,
we're not.
at all.
No, we're not in high school or college anymore. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
We were young and like we liked the feeling of feeling busy.
Yes, that is
People like
people
to
feel
feel busy.
successful because they're busy.
Yeah, but really it's not. I feel like now I'm way more organized. So I don't feel like when I have my list and I get it done, cool. Before I used to feel like I used to be so unproductive, doing things just to feel busy. So at that time, we'd be up all night gluing these studs in the glasses.
We would switch off, rotate. Who gets to sleep? Who has to make glasses?
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had a futon. Well, we first had an air mattress, but then we were able to move into another apartment that we shared a bed, and we shared.
It wasn't even a real bed.
It wasn't a real bed. We had a futon.
And it was like really, really small.
Broken. Yeah, it was a really small room. We had a broken little futon because we couldn't afford to get a new one. But like one person would sleep, and then the other person would make glasses, and then we would switch off.
How long did this happen? Like how long were you doing this for?
For like 2010 to 2013.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, 3 years, and then I read you were using it or basically had the brand kind of like an art project, and you realize, okay, this is a fad. Let's actually go back because also bootstrapping is getting that awareness.
Yeah.
How did you guys? You've had like Ashanti, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Prince, like all these people in your sunglasses. How did that happen? Because I think that's a huge part. Building a great brand, having that awareness is such a great way to bootstrap.
Yeah.
How did you even make that happen?
You know what's so crazy? It's so hard to answer that question when people ask us that because it's been so organic.
Yeah. Even now, we have $0 going towards marketing right now.
Yeah.
But we've gotten.
But you build brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like it's such a, and I never like to give people the advice of what we did because our situation again, it was like a blessing and we went with our intuition. I feel like all of our celebrity placements and press placements have honestly just been so organic, and it's been people who believe in us and they want to be a part of the story and they want to be a part of the brand and they want to support, and so we've had like the most amazing support. But I think it goes back to what you always say is that like actually creating an organic story and creating an organic brand. We're not just a direct-to-consumer brand that has an awesome product, but there's a manufactured story.
Yeah.
People see transparency, and we've always been transparent since day one. And people just want to like hop on the ride. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think transparency was a big part because when we first moved here, we actually started a blog. So we had an e-commerce website, then we had our blog, and the blog had journals, and we would journal like. Oh, like we kept it so transparent throughout the whole journey.
That's
like,
awesome.
no, we just got to New York and we don't know how we're gonna pay our rent, but we're out here. The next one was like, you guys, Kelly Osbourne wore our glasses and we just sold X amount of glasses. The next one's like, oh man, we don't know, like rent's crazy, we have bills now and the business is growing, but we don't know what's next. Like we kept it so real. We had all these journals and it was online.
It was your blog.
Yeah, it was a blog so people could like follow. It was more so they could follow how like we got from Minnesota with nothing to New York and what that journey was.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that really helped too. Which I think transparency is so key. And when you're transparent, people want to support, and people support people. Investors invest in people. People work with people for people. We support people for people. So even like we have a whole bunch of influencers and like celebrities that wear our product, but it's because they're gonna choose to wear our product and post about it over another product that is
Because they like you.
Yeah. And so I think that's important to like have that person, that peer-to-peer relationship, or just at least make people feel like they're part of the brand. Like even now we have a team of people that help with customer service, but people email our customer service email, they're like, hey Coco and Breezy, I need to like they literally address our info@cocobreezy.com email as like, hey Coco and Breezy, I want to like exchange this frame for this. Like people think that it's so touchable, and I think I want to always keep that feeling.
Yeah.
Because it might be someone else, even like on our Instagram, we might have someone else help with like the comments and captions, but like it's just people still feel like they're like we're here. Even once our company just grows into like a huge ass company, I still want that feeling that people are talking to us.
Because like that transparency is like what because everyone's throwing around authenticity these days.
Yeah.
And it's not this manufactured term where people are like, oh, this is how, like you're trying to teach authenticity, and it's like, authenticity is just being. Like just be. Just be, that's it. And like the fact that you guys, because you have a lot of brands who will try to create this very overproduced connection through music and feeling, but it's just you guys simply put up a blog and said, here's what we're going through, and then you grew this audience.
Yeah.
Because it's a human connection. You have that connection and that transparency. And the frustrating thing when I see brands, and our brand even went through this, where we're trying to quantify awareness, and a lot of investors will give pushback because awareness is very hard to quantify.
Right.
Authenticity, things like that's very hard to quantify, but they're so essential, not even just for the foundation of your company, but to grow it.
Yeah.
Because if people don't know who you are, you're just going to be spending all this money trying to acquire all these customers.
Exactly.
And then they, like you said, it's like they can choose between you and everybody else. So what makes you special enough to stick around?
Right.
Something that we always say is that within like a lot of the press that we've been in, like a lot of the magazines and even online blogs that have written up about us, we always say that we always have news to tell.
Yeah.
We don't have to make up a story. And so like why wouldn't they want to write up about us? There's always a new story, or there's always something to talk about. And I think that there's a lot of people that they will get some type of marketing and they're like, okay, what should we talk about now? And you can, when you read that,
We're not a company that supports LGBTQ, but everyone else will do it, so let's just do it.
It's bad.
Yeah, and like,
But you guys don't have any LGBTQ people on your team, but we're just doing it because it's a fad. Like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, we're gonna do a campaign with LGBTQ, but no one on the production side is that. Like,
And people can tell.
let's not do marketing for the fad. Let's do it for what you actually
For the
believe
culture.
in.
Yeah.
For the culture, because my biggest thing is that I can't stand when these companies are using either like people of color or people that are minorities, when they're using us for their marketing.
like everyone that's
But they're not like, everyone that's an other, they're using that just like the press.
they're making, and they're making us feel like an other when it doesn't feel inclusive. Like their goal is to make us feel like we're a part of it, but we actually.
But
feel like,
you can tell when it's forced. Just like, they're like, oh, we have to include these people to try to get these customers too. But really, it's like, do you really represent like what's going on, or are you just trying to do it just to get sales? Which I get it. Let's get everybody, but like let's not do for like what your brand really, like what you represent and what it means.
Yeah, it's like D. Ray McKay, who's heavily involved in Black Lives Matter. He said like diversity is about number of bodies and inclusion is about culture.
Yeah.
And most people look at diversity and not inclusiveness.
Yeah.
Because it's like in order to include people, you need to consider culture.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just subjecting bodies to the same old same.
Yeah.
You guys have this blog, and you had MySpace. What were some other levers you were pulling in order to grow? Because it sounds like just building an audience and getting these pre-orders or getting orders in was helping you to sustain the business. So what were some other things you were doing in order to grow the audience?
I think at that time blogs were really valuable. Now,
Were they reaching out to you? You're reaching
they're
out to
reaching out to us.
And what I can say is
blogs were way different than they are now.
Okay.
They were so different because now the market is so saturated. So at that time, there weren't a lot of like style blogs. There weren't a lot of like cultural blogs. There were only a few. So whenever we get on the blog, our sales would grow crazy. Now, if we get on a website that gets a whole bunch of views or 1 million views, like you kind of get sales, but they don't go out, like they don't just blow up this water. And I think.
Why do you think that is?
I think because now consumers can get so much stuff.
From
Before it wasn't so easy to access. Now everything's so easy to access, but at that time, like 2009, 2010, all that it was very new. And even when celebrities used to wear our product, it would make a huge difference. Now, consumers know that like, okay, if a celebrity wears it, cool. Yeah, exactly. They assume that that person's getting paid, and then like Rihanna didn't pick it out, like her stylist. You know, before it'd be like, oh my gosh, Rihanna's wearing these glasses, I need them. You know.
It's a weirdness around it. So then you guys started with very organic, word of mouth, social before social was even a strategy for companies.
Yep.
So now, since it is so saturated, what are you doing in order to sustain that growth and build that audience? Because you guys are still bootstrapping, and a huge part of your strategy is word of mouth and social. So how are you guys dealing with that today?
I think that one, as far as like the celebrity or influencers wearing our product and posting it on social, that has helped a lot, is to keep the brand awareness. Unfortunately, we have a rule where like we love gifting, but I always, one, like when people pick out their own product, and two, I love when people ask me, or when they ask us, and they're like, oh, I love this frame, because then they organically will share it, love it, want it, to all their friends. They might have 1 million followers, they might post it a few times, and that's how you get that really organic lifestyle connection. So that's been a really good part, that like unfortunately we have a beautiful community of people around us that just support what we're doing, or they love the
Or we
product
even
and
have
reach out.
like big bloggers and influencers or celebrities comment on a pair of glasses on our Instagram, and that's our chance to say like, oh, no problem, we'll just give it to you, we'll send you a pair. As opposed to like doing a whole gifting.
Just because we don't have budget for that, so now it's like, how do we organically do it where people will still share and they do it, which is great. And then we DJ, which has been amazing, and we feel like the Coco Breezy brand, again, we're giving you a lifestyle. So the cool part is that people in the music world, they know us as like DJs. Sometimes people in the music world are like, oh, you guys are DJs and you guys do eyewear, and the people in the eyewear industry, they think that we were DJs, and we started an eyewear company.
You started with eyewear though, right?
Yeah.
Music has always been a part of it.
It's always been a part of the company and the brand, but we didn't really like take time to start really DJing until about 3 years ago, because we really need to focus on building the business.
But it's been such a beautiful combination, because it's like, I feel like music is such an emotional thing. And if we're
it's lifestyle, your lifestyle brand.
Yeah, like if we're able to provide people with like some type of an experience, then it'll come back to the eyewear. And so it's like, I think the key is like not to always be selling to someone.
Yeah, you don't sell a product, you sell the lifestyle.
And to create an experience. And so I think the experience will create the emotional connection and brand equity, which will then drive them back to going to the website or like wanting to purchase a pair of glasses. Or maybe they don't want to purchase a pair of glasses now, but since they're fans of the music, they're a fan, and maybe in years they may purchase.
Y'all, I love Coco and Breezy and what they stand for, because they built a company by just being them. I'm constantly telling other entrepreneurs and clients this all the time. The best business you could ever do is just by being real and being you. But too often we're ducking and dodging and looking to see what so-and-so over there is saying and what they're doing. But we don't really take a time to step back and say, well, what do I have to say and what do I actually stand for? Instead, we want to cast this wide net to everybody to get as much business as possible. But the reality is that attract your tribe, the people that actually care, because those are the people whose dollars actually matter, okay? But we want to actually hear from you guys. So leave a comment below. I want to hear what interesting ways that you're bootstrapping your companies. Share with the tribe. Let us know if you have some cool tips. And in the meantime, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to keep learning how to grow your company from other badass women, make sure to subscribe to this channel. But until next time, queens, keep getting shit done.